Good afternoon, folks. It's Sarah Smith here, and I'm down in Mount Eden, just off Dominion Road, and I've come here today to have a little bit of a walk around because there's so much buzz going on online and amongst the truther community about, the UN Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, and it's all well and good to know the theory about it, but we are going to learn a little bit today about how it happens in practice on the ground, on the street level, and we're going to show you a few things in the hope that you actually get active and you go and check out the Auckland City Council or your local city council in your town, and you go and see how they are actually implementing the UN agendas through our local body councils. So here with me today, I am pleased to announce that I'm here with Mrs. Michael Baker.
Everyone must wear a mask.
And she is going to do the honour of talking us through a little bit of what's happening in New Zealand and how we can avoid hopefully becoming something like, LA or Scotland or Ireland, because there's a lot of failed UN policies that have been pushed through in these countries, and as you all know, you are very well aware of the dangers of the United Nations and their agendas that they're trying to push in through local body councils. So let's go, Mrs. Baker, take us for a walk around Mount Eden.
Well, thank you, Sarah Smith. I love being here in your country, and I came here deliberately because I knew you guys have a historic election this year, and time's running out. So what do we have in common? What's a Californian doing here in New Zealand, and why did she go to Scotland when they had that historic election? So, Ms. Smith, if you can scan over to this countdown right here. This is Mount Eden countdown. And in August, your Prime Minister got on TV, I think around 7 p.m., and she's like, "Holy Moses, 4 people have caught this disease, and we're going to lock you all down." By 8 p.m., 9 p.m., this store was crowded with people coming to buy toilet paper. And if you look, there's an awful lot of car park, okay? See, and there's a lot of fancy schmancy cars. This is an affluent part of Auckland. This is one of the areas where the highest net income in all of New Zealand lives. And you see all those cars? That's because you can get in it and you can go to the grocery store. So come and take a walk with Sarah and I. We're gonna teach you why you don't want the urban planning that is coming your way. Oh look, there's transit, Sarah.
So tell us about this. What's this all about?
Well, in third world countries, you've seen plenty of the memes with people sitting on top of the bus and out of the bus and all over the bus. But in first world country, we don't have first world problems. We have reasons to go to get an education, to start a family, to practice religion or not practice religion. But first world is a good place to live. We don't want all our people living on buses and using trick. And the reason for that is autonomy. If you're a small business owner, you're a mom, how's it gonna be to go grocery shopping with a bus-only option? What if you have 5 or 6 kids? What if you have 2 kids? What if you have a small business and you have to buy office supplies? You need a car. So that's kind of one of the reasons that urban development fails, is they don't really touch where people live. It's an idea, and it's an idea. You need to slow down, dude. I'm sorry. And as you can tell, I don't do the whole walkability thing because I'm already out of breath. I drive a car. So we're coming up to Dominion Road. And this area was supposed to have a light choo-choo on it. I've been watching some Planet B thing on Facebook, but I'm banned on Facebook, so I can't talk to them. So Planet B, you missed out. Here's what you need to know. There's no choo-choo on this place. There's no choo-choo on Dominion Road. And if you look at Edinburgh, they just now are extending light rail into Lee. And if you look into Los Angeles, there's actual books about the decades-long We used to have light rail in LA by Venice Beach all the way to downtown. They ripped it out, and now they want to put it back again at the cost of billions over 3-4 decades. So what is this? What is this light rail scam? It's basically a way that consultants make money. It's not really about transport. And the gist of Agenda 21, or the gist of these UN programs, is really about funneling local tax dollars to a central bureaucracy. And the way that the shell game works is they do studies and they hire consultants, and most of the city planners, no matter what country you're in, end up becoming part of these consultancies. So look, there's no train.
Hello. I saw you on the bus.
Oh my God, how are you doing?
Oh, all right.
Oh my God, how are you doing?
All right, so Mrs. Baker's just run into some people that know her, so I'll just take over for a little bit. We're just talking about how there's no light rail here. So there's no light rail, and we're wanting light rail.
No.
That's the plan, but we don't really want it because it's not going to be good for the people.
That's right, because the whole light rail scam is really about diverting local tax dollars. What are you going to do on light rail if you're a mom or you're a business owner and you need to go and buy a bunch of groceries, or you need to carry any kind of things? That's just not how it works.
And we don't have the population for it, do we, Mrs. Baker?
No, not at all. Not at all. Your population of New Zealand is the equivalent of the population of Council District 4 in the city of Los Angeles. So the urban planning that is coming to you, that was created by, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s NRDC, which is the National Resource Defense Council, and Global Green and Santa Monica. These planners, they're pushing an agenda for all of us to have built to suit one agenda. It doesn't work to our population, our demographics, our lifestyle. The thing about California and New Zealand is your urban planning and your land use already mimics California. So if you go to Hamilton, it mimics Scottsdale. That's in Arizona, but they copy California too. If you go to the equine zones, there's over 150 years history between California and New Zealand. And so all you have to do, if you want the short version, you don't want to watch this whole thing, is look at places like LA, look at places like San Francisco, look at why Santa Cruz sued for its regional planning, and see how our dual economy in California, our carbon offset market and our dollar market, is failing and people are leaving. We've had over 20,000 businesses leave California in the last 15, 20 years. And all we do is import poverty. Does that sound familiar? If you look on this street, you have a bunch of really high-end vehicles that belong to foreigners, but your own Kiwis drive the mid-range cars and the lower-range cars, or they ride transit. When you import poverty, you push out the middle class. So what's happening to New Zealand's middle class? What are you guys doing to fight for your middle class? Because without a middle class, you get a decaying society. You get a barbell economy. And your middle class is what makes or breaks civil society. So look at that.
All right. So what can you tell us about bus lanes? Because bus lanes have been a real controversy in Auckland City because they've been taking away the parking, which means that businesses don't get as much custom because it's further away to park your car, so people aren't able to access the businesses they want to in places like Dominion Road or K Road or even downtown.
That's absolutely correct. So you lose foot traffic, actually. So it's anti-intuitive. The planners will tell you you're going to get increased foot traffic. But if you talk to any business owner around the world, whether you're in Northern Ireland or you're in Scotland or you're in California, talk to the business owners, talk to the shop owners, ask them about foot traffic. It's exactly what Sarah was alluding to.
All right, so should we carry on down here a little bit?
So while we've been getting hoodwinked with all this nonsense with COVID lockdown, in August and September, the Marlborough District Council has been busy making land use changes. In November 2019, Stuff did a story, New Zealand's dying towns. Go visit those towns. Go talk to remaining residents. Learn why the town is dying from your own experience. Why would a globalist mouthpiece like Stuff want to stick a fork in the list of towns. I can tell you one of the towns they list is actually thriving right now. So if you have a globalist agenda lens, you're going to have a different view of what is happening and what actually is, a dying town versus what has potential. If you take away people's agency and ability to build a business, then yeah, you're going to have a dead town. So here we are. Here's another bus stop. As you may recall, the lovely Sarah and I met up at another bus stop. This ain't that much. This ain't that much. How long would you say this is? The distance.
500 meters?
Yeah. So here's another bus stop. Woohoo! And here we go. Here's another view of the rich folks Mount Eaton countdown. You see all those car parks? You need car parks if you're living a life of autonomy. If you're under state control, you need buses and you need electric bikes. Oh wait, we didn't see any electric bikes. Did you see any electric bikes?
No, I did see one guy biking past.
No, they park
but not
them
an
here.
electric bike.
So this area that is empty right now, where it says that big P, they park those Lime electric bikes.
The scooters, do you mean?
Yeah, this is very interesting and fortuitous for us, Sarah, because one of the reasons I targeted this is to show you how no one uses the bikes. They're always parked here and no one uses them, so I don't know where they went today.
Well, maybe they got rid of them because no one was using them.
And speaking of getting rid of those bikes, there's tons and tons of pictures on the internet of the boneyards in China of unused electric bikes. And just look at those pictures. Look at the boneyards of airplanes not used. Look at all these transit fails. They end up in China, and that was when China was taking all our recycling. Look at the pictures of the cemeteries where these bikes go to die. But yeah, so whether you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, or you're in Los Angeles, California, or you're in Lee, Scotland, they just sit there. No one rides them. And I learned something really valuable from a Vietnamese friend of mine. He said, we left communism, and to us, the car symbolizes success. And these folks want us to give us our symbol of success and ride a bike. But a bike, to some people, represents third world that they got away from. So why would we ride a bike? Even if we wanted to, we're not going to. And it was really eye-opening to me. To some people, especially those that have led communism, a car is a symbol that means you have been successful. It means that you are now first world. And if there's any first world anywhere, it's in this parking lot. You've got BMWs and you've got some of the most high-end cars. So with the urban planning going on in New Zealand, do you want the car park to go away? Are you going to be able to have the lifestyle you're accustomed to if you have to ride a bike to the grocery store? Is that feasible? I mean, I drink a lot of beer, and that beer's heavy, and I need my car.
The other question is, I have around the scooters and the electric bikes, is that not getting everybody accustomed to the fact, one, you've got to get rid of your car and get onto public transport, but two, the whole driverless car economy, that we're never going to own our. They want to get us to the point where we're quite happy to not own our own car, and they'll just have, they've already got hop cars around the city, which are you just book the car for an hour or half a day. So it's getting us away from, like you say, that ownership and more of a shared kind of system of smart cars. That's where I was going, the whole driverless cars eventually, isn't it? They want to set up the whole economy so that cars are electric vehicles, so that they just stay in the radius of the city. You can't actually go much further than that because the computer says no.
Right. So we had in San Diego, in the North Park area in 2013, Dialemma test marketed the electric smart cars, and they failed. It was called Car to Go, and you can look up the history online. The first phase was electric. No one would use it. Okay, the urbanites, the hipsters of North Park wouldn't use it. Then the hipsters of San Diego wouldn't use it. So they converted to diesel. They converted to gas. And no one still used it. They were tiny. They didn't really help you go grocery shopping or go, if you ordered a big box from Amazon and you had to pick it up, there was no room in the car for it. It just wasn't practical. And so it went bust. It went bankrupt. So this was Dilemma funding it, and if it didn't have a big daddy, if it was just a bootstrap startup, it wouldn't have even lasted as long as it did. So there's multiple phases. I was in CBD during level 4. And those city hops, even before the lockdown, were never used. How many people do you know that only need to go 1 or 2 blocks? And I'm sorry, you have a gorgeous country. You want to limit yourself so that you're always in, Milford, and you never get to go and see the black, what are those black sand?
West Coast
Yeah. That's right. You just live in one little zone your whole life. You don't make babies. You don't start a business. And you ride a bicycle. I mean, does that sound fun to you? Is that a life to you?
Doesn't sound very fun to me, especially when we live in a gorgeous country. And so a lot of these programs have actually failed in other countries, as you say. So that leaves the question as to why New Zealand, who is kind of coming up we're bringing up the rear end. We're not leading these kind of policies. But why are we importing these policies that have failed elsewhere in the world?
Because they make a select small group of bureaucrats a lot of money. Ultimately, the end game of Agenda 21 is based on land use to divert local tax dollars into a central bureaucracy. So if you're a bureaucrat, you do very well. And the media is under the control of the bureaucrats, so they don't give you really accurate data. They don't give you good information. So here's another example. On September 7th, would you say we were heavily bombarded by Wuhan virus messaging?
Yes.
Okay. So RNZ on September 7th did a really fun story, a kumbaya story about how driveways going away are going to be the new rule. And they, interviewed this guy. I didn't catch which council it was, but he was just so really proud. He was proud that all the new houses in his district were going to leverage the space that's wasted for a car and a garage and a driveway, so they could build up and have higher density. One of the benefits of suburbia is you have your own space and land. You have some privacy. You have some space. So that's one of the things you need to be thinking about is, do you need a driveway? Do you need a garage to maintain distance from your neighbors for privacy and to park your car? I get that they want the car to go away, but I know a lot of people who don't even park their car in the garage. They got surfboards in the garage. They've got art supplies in the garage. They Airbnb the garage. The garage is not just for a car. So this kind of shift in land use, again, is tearing away first world to replace it with third world. Well, look at the shanty towns in Calcutta. Look at the shanty towns in Rio. Look what's become of Venice Beach.
Like high density housing and
Yeah.
high density population, squishing everybody in, going up instead of out.
Yeah, so that planning is right now going on according to RNZ. RNZ does a lot of stories about urban planning if you're more interested to look up on that. So another council district I want to tell you about is Marlborough District Council. They've been having a lot of meetings and a lot of urban planning while we've been in level 2, level 3. I know they're in South Island. One of the stories that came out is how burials in that district have gone up 900% in a year. Why is that? I mean, I'm not going to answer it for you, but you need to be looking. Do you have an aging family? Do you have an aging population? And how are burials related to land use? So all these things are impacted. You know, how you live is impacted. Meanwhile, all we get is this diversion with the Wuhan virus. And it's up to you. It's incumbent on you to go get information. Sarah's going to have a lot of really good links and references for you that are credible so that you can learn more. But we came out here today because we want you to get off the couch, stop clicking your mouse. We don't care about likes and shares. We don't care about the fake virtual world. You need to go when you get notices from your district council to the meeting. You need to ask questions. You need to find out who the consultants are. You need to know where your tax dollars are going. You need to ask if they've even done a cursory study of these programs they're telling you failing somewhere else. And I'm your secret weapon. I'm telling you the things they're telling you to do have failed somewhere else.
All right, there you go, folks. You heard it here first. Got someone straight from LA telling us what we're doing's wrong. So let's get out there. Let's stop this United Nations agenda from taking over our country. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.